Hi, this is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Young Men Empowerment Forum. I want to deal with a topic that's very important, the topic that deals with the spirit of stagnation, dealing with the spirit of stagnation. And I want to address this topic because many of our young men have actually reached a point where they feel stagnant, they feel like they cannot continue anymore, they feel like life is now not actually folding up the way they want it to be. They don't see themselves moving any further from here. And I want to address this topic because of that. And today, I want to start with part one, and I hope that will help you as a young man as we deal with the spirit of stagnation. And I want to read a scripture from the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. Very common scripture that you would understand, all of you. And it will be helpful for you as a young man to listen to this one. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, it says, "And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that that moveth upon the earth." Now, this particular scripture, I want to move from these premises because this is the scripture that will show you what God did when he blessed a human being. When God put us as human beings here on earth, God aimed us to be able to be fruitful, to multiply, and to replenish the earth, and to be able to subdue the earth, of course, and have dominion over everything on earth. Now, because of that, you'll realize that the feeling of stagnation comes as a result of any individual or a young man who will feel like, I'm not being able to multiply. I'm not being able to be fruitful. I'm not being able to replenish the earth. I'm not being able to subdue the earth as well. So when you feel that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of, I'm not able to fulfill the scripture, that is when we are saying you're feeling stagnant. But I want to urge you to understand that stagnation doesn't necessarily mean just that feeling. Stagnation means deeper than that, because there must be the practical examples of things that are happening to you that makes you to really believe that you're stagnant. And stagnation, therefore, sometimes becomes a perception. Sometimes it becomes just a word that is said by the devil. And it becomes a condemnation from the devil that makes you feel stagnant. And that is why I want to address this topic for that regard. The book of Luke chapter 14, verse 28 to 30. And I want you to listen. It says, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first, and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply, after they hath told the foundation, or they've laid the foundation, and is not able to finish it, all that, behold, it begin to mock him, and saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish." Now, I want to emphasize the issue of planning when it comes to stagnation, or the spirit of stagnation. That lack of planning, of course, makes people to be stagnant. So I want you to be careful of that as a young man, that you are aware that some of the stagnations are just simply caused by us not planning well. Whereby you start a project, but you didn't plan the project thoroughly. You didn't plan the project appropriately. And therefore, you find yourself stagnant, or see yourself as stagnant because of that. Now, I want you just to bring that based on this scripture in the book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 28 to 30. Now, there is a spirit called stagnation, as I've mentioned. And this spirit is very dangerous. And is dangerous in people's lives. And we've seen that. And many people that are feeling stagnant, sometimes they get to a point where they cannot continue with life anymore. Some even commit suicide. And as a young man, I want you not to reach to that level at all. Some people start things, dedicate their time and even money, yet they do not finish. And because they don't finish, then they condemn themselves. In life, there are stages, remember? As you grow, you need to learn and to develop. You need to realize the stage where you are. You need to acknowledge the stage where you are, and therefore behave based on that stage. And be patient with yourself, and sometimes don't rush things, because at a certain stage, these are the things that you think you should have achieved, and you may not have achieved them at that certain stage. There are stages in life, so please allow what we call the process of growth in your life. Very, very important. Remember, we are going through life that we are living in this earth, but we are going to depart one day. And as we are going to depart one day, remember, you need to be leaving what we call a legacy behind. And as you're going to leave legacy behind, it is very important, therefore, that you don't make yourself stagnant, or you don't stay in stagnancy, because you need to leave legacy behind. You need to be doing something that will leave legacy behind. We all know the feeling of unfulfillment in our lives, which is a very frustrating feeling. And when that feeling comes, it sometimes stops things from progressing. Because sometimes when that feeling comes, it actually makes us to feel discouraged. It makes us not to feel like moving on anymore. And that's the feeling that we want to avoid by avoiding stagnation. As we go through the stages of life, I must say that we experience stagnation, where we see some things not working the way we expect them to be working in our lives. Now, because of that, the devil will always come and whisper in your ear, try to discourage you as a young man, and say you're not moving, and say to you there's nothing happening in your life. And because of that, then that disturbs, and it will make you feel like you're useless completely. And I want to urge you as a young man not to submit yourself into that. Now, I want to also mention that we need a proper diagnosis of our lives, and we need to stop generalizing things in our lives. So therefore, we need to make sure that when there's a problem, we identify that particular problem and not generalize it in our lives. But sometimes we think we are stagnant while we are still in a planning stage. And sometimes we think that we are stagnant because we confess that we are stuck. And because of that confession, therefore, we feel overwhelmed by stagnation, and even though you are not stuck at all. And sometimes we need that proper diagnosis, because that's the only way you're going to be able to see things and make sure that you know how things work in your life. When you are in problems, please identify specific areas of problems and make sure that you realize how to get out of those problems. And make sure that you also you know where you're powerful, you know what are your weaknesses as well. And please accelerate on those things that you're powerful in, and so that they can overpower the weaknesses in your life. And that's the way you're going to move yourself from stagnation. And this is very important as we speak this topic of stagnation. Focus on the things that are working in your life, and don't allow yourself to focus on things that are not working. Don't focus on things that are failing in your life. Because when you do that, then of course you are going to discourage yourself as well. Now, it takes a decision to finish what you have started. Remember? And therefore, if you don't decide to finish things, you will actually forever be a failure, because you will actually discourage yourself by things that you didn't finish. And the more you have lots of things that you didn't finish, the more your life doesn't shape up. The more also you discourage yourself each time you're supposed to start something and say, but I'm not going to finish because I know myself, I never finish things. And that will discourage you. So please make sure that you make a decision to finish things that you have started, because it takes a decision. And when it has taken a decision, therefore, it needs an effort as well to make sure that you push when it's difficult to do so. You become consistent in things that you're doing so that you can be able to finish. And also that consistency will help you to be able to finish things even in the coming projects that are coming your way. Remember, the enemy will use your focus to misdirect you to wrong things, and he will always make sure that you don't focus on the project at hand. Please be careful of that. Make sure that you focus on the right things. Make sure that you stick to what you've started already as a young man, because that's the only way you're going to be able to finish what you've started already. Always redirect your focus. When you feel like you're losing focus, redirect it back to the things that are important, and continually do those and make sure that they are working powerfully in your life. The problem is that we all want to be superstars. And while we know that being superstars is not possible, and being superstars is actually limiting us as well. So please don't want to be a superstar, because when you want to become a superstar, you become a jack of all trades and a master of none. And as a result, we have seen people that become a jack of all trades to delay things in the areas where they are not specializing in, things that they are not good in, they're actually lagging behind. And you focus on things that you're good in, and they progress. So please, in that regard, allocate people that are supposed to be knowing those things that you are not good in, and make sure that you delegate them to do those, and you'll see progress in your life, and you'll realize that you are not stagnant at all. The problem is that we want to be superstars. God didn't make us superstars at all. Every one of us have got strength in certain areas. We are unique, and we are poor in some areas of our lives. And there are those that are good in those areas that we think we are poor in. So please make use of those people in order to move on and not become stagnant. Use people in their right places. They are forever ready to assist. They are forever ready to support as well. And people can only support when you ask them to come and support you. Please don't be a superstar. We need to challenge our status quo. Otherwise, we will die while we're still alive, and we'll have our dreams dead as well while we're still alive. So let us be able to challenge ourselves in this regard and rise up and face things as we move out of stagnation. Remember, limitations can be outgrown. Don't stick into limitations, and don't stay there. Don't remain in your limitations. Please outgrow your limitations, because that's the only way you're going to move from that stagnation. Lack of purpose in life will forever make you feel you are stuck, because when you don't have a purpose, you will perish. When you don't have a purpose, you don't have direction. So therefore, I want to urge you as an individual, as a young man, find your purpose in life and pursue your purpose, because your purpose will always keep you in track of your direction. Your purpose will always assist you to walk in the path of direction, and you will always feel fulfilled when you are in your purpose. So please make sure that you find your purpose as a young man in your life, because purpose is not employment, you know that, but purpose can generate money, though it's not your employment, but purpose can generate money, because purpose has got a tendency of attracting money. When people need your purpose, you will actually be able to charge for your purpose, and you can make money through that. So it is not employment, but it is actually able to generate money. Maximize the time you have, and please work on your purpose at all times. Shape it and perfect it as well. Because when you perfect your purpose, it becomes appealing to the people, and everybody needs it. And you can service the people through your purpose, and you can make money, therefore, through your purpose. Remember, like Paul in the Bible, who says, I've run my race and I've finished my course, because you need to fulfill your purpose. You need to run your purpose. And remember that you need to run in your own lane in order to fulfill your purpose. And be patient with yourself as well, and you will be able to fulfill it. I want to end up here today. Your host, Micornus Phokane. We are dealing with the spirit of stagnation. And this was part 1, of course, and we'll move to part 2 tomorrow. Now, I want you to remember our social media platforms, Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum, and Micornus Phokane. Please click like on those pages, and click notification buttons on those pages. You'll be notified when we've posted material of this kind. Remember our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please be part of the material that we posted there. That will bless you, that will help you, and you will never be the same again. Allow me to check out right here your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We will be embarking on part 2 tomorrow. Please join us tomorrow as we deal with part 2. May the good Lord bless you, and allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.